Have you ever felt lost, unsure of where to turn next? Life's journey can often feel like navigating a maze without a map. We crave certainty, a clear direction to follow. But what happens when the path ahead is shrouded in mist? What do we do when we can't see what's coming? It's in these moments of uncertainty that we discover the true meaning of walking by faith. This is not about blind optimism or ignoring our doubts. It's about trusting in something bigger than ourselves, even when we can't see the way forward. Walking by faith requires a shift in perspective. It's about moving from a place of fear and doubt to a place of trust and surrender. It's about letting go of our need to control everything and embracing the unknown with courage and hope. The world tells us to trust in ourselves, to rely on our own understanding. But what happens when our own understanding fails us? What happens when we've exhausted all our options and still find ourselves lost and alone? It's in those moments that we realize the limitations of our own sight. We begin to understand that there's a power greater than ourselves, a love that surpasses all understanding. We begin to see that walking by faith is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of incredible strength. It's the strength to keep going when everything in us wants to give up. It's the strength to hope when all hope seems lost. It's the strength to believe that even in the darkest of nights, the dawn will eventually break. Doubts are a natural part of the human experience. When we walk by faith, we're not immune to doubts. In fact, it's in those moments of doubt that our faith is tested and refined. It's easy to trust when everything is going our way. But what about when we face setbacks, disappointments, and unanswered prayers? It's in those moments that we have to dig deep and cling to our faith even tighter. We have to remind ourselves of God's faithfulness in the past, His promises for the future, and His unwavering love for us in the present moment. Doubt can whisper in our ears, telling us to give up, to turn back, to stop believing. But we have a choice. We can either listen to those doubts and let them consume us, or we can choose to hold on to our faith even when it's hard. Remember, doubt is not the opposite of faith. It's a part of it. It's in the wrestling, in the questioning, that our faith grows stronger. It's in the midst of our doubts that we learn to lean not on our own understanding, but on the one who holds the universe in His hands. Throughout history, countless individuals have walked by faith and experienced the extraordinary. Their stories serve as beacons of hope, reminding us that we are not alone in our journeys. Consider the story of Noah, who built an ark in the middle of a desert because God told him a flood was coming. Or the story of Moses, who led the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt, parting the Red Sea with nothing but a staff and unwavering faith. These stories may seem larger than life, but they teach us that God is not limited by our circumstances. He is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine. When we choose to walk by faith, we open ourselves up to the possibility of experiencing His miraculous power in our own lives. These stories are not just ancient tales, they are timeless reminders that God is still in the business of doing the impossible. He is still parting waters, moving mountains, and making a way where there seems to be no way, and He desires to do the same for us today. When we walk by faith, we don't always receive a detailed roadmap for our lives. We don't always get to see the bigger picture or understand why things happen the way they do. But that doesn't mean we have to live in a constant state of confusion and anxiety. Faith provides a sense of peace and clarity, even when we don't have all the answers. It's like having a compass that always points us in the right direction, even if we don't know the exact route. It's about trusting that God is leading us, even when we can't see where we're going. This doesn't mean the journey will be easy or without its challenges. There will be times when we stumble, when we question, when we wonder if we're on the right path. But even in those moments, we can hold on to the truth that God is with us, guiding our steps and working all things together for our good. The peace that surpasses all understanding is not the absence of problems. It's the presence of God in the midst of them. It's the assurance that no matter what we face, we don't face it alone. And that is a truth that can bring comfort and clarity to even the most uncertain of circumstances. Walking by faith is not a one-time decision. It's a lifelong journey of learning to trust God more and more each day. It's a process of surrendering our will to His, of letting go of our fears and embracing His promises. As we walk this path, we begin to notice a transformation taking place within us. Our hearts become more aligned with His, our minds are renewed by His truth, and our lives begin to reflect His love and grace. Fear and worry lose their grip on us as we learn to cast our cares upon Him. Doubt and insecurity fade away as we experience His faithfulness firsthand. And we begin to walk with a confidence and purpose that can only come from knowing that we are children of God, dearly loved and fully known. This transformation is not just for our own benefit. It spills over into every area of our lives. It impacts our relationships, our work, our interactions with the world around us. As we become more like Christ, we become vessels of His love, hope, and healing to a world desperately in need of His touch. Each person's journey of faith is unique. There is no one-size-fits-all experience. Your story is still being written, and it's filled with endless possibilities. Don't be afraid to embrace the unknown, to step out in faith, and to see where God leads you. As you walk this path, remember that you are not alone. There is a community of believers cheering you on, ready to offer support, encouragement, and prayer. Share your story with others. Let them know what God is doing in your life. Your testimony might be the very thing someone else needs to hear to encourage them on their own journey. Your faith has the power to inspire others and to point them towards the hope that only found in Christ. Don't underestimate the impact that your story can have. Be bold in sharing your faith, and watch as God uses you to touch the lives of those around you. In a world filled with uncertainty, one thing remains constant: God's love for us. And it's that love that compels us to step out in faith, to trust Him even when we don't understand.